What is going on, everybody? It is I, Cobra, and we are back again with a brand new video. And we are back again with another top 10. My top 10. Last time I did Mario to celebrate, well, Mario Day. March 10th was National Mario Day. Today, we're doing another top 10. This time, Dragon Ball games. Now, I've been watching Dragon Ball forever. I even went back recently to rewatch the original Dragon Ball, GT, Z, and Super, of course. Can't forget Super, and also the movies. So, without further ado, cue that intro. Let's get on with the list. Okay, so kicking things off at number 10, Dragon Ball Z Sagas. Now, this was a little different. This also has mixed reviews. You travel, literally run as fast as you can to get to who may be the villain at that point. You have to fight characters like Raditz and Vegeta and Cell, Frieza. It's pretty fun. Don't get messed up. It is a pretty fun game to play. Now, multiplayer is when it gets a little annoying because, as we all know, some of these fights are one-on-one, 1v1, Goku versus Frieza. If you are playing with two people, you have a 1-minute timer to play as that character before the timer runs out and it's player 2's turn. It's pretty annoying, but if you are without that aspect to it, they have characters like Future Gohan, the one with the one arm, Kid Trunks, Goku, Piccolo, Gohan, Vegeta. Listen, and then it breaks down. The best part I like about it breaks down certain parts of the anime in key cutscenes, parts of the Saiyan saga, the Cell saga, Frieza saga, I should say. Well, either saga is always a cutscene before the game starts and before the game ends, especially when it comes to the boss fights. So coming at number 10, Dragon Ball Z Sagas. Yeah. Coming in at number 9, Dragon Ball Burst Limit. This game is more of a rinse and repeat with a few added features. In my opinion, it's more like Dragon Ball, the first Budokai game, except you just get hit with a lot of cutscenes that actually affect your health. Like Piccolo could kick you and it would damage your health. It wouldn't really hit you, it would just be the cutscene. Weird part. I did have fun growing up. I did have fun playing this game. This was the first game I ever got on the first Dragon Ball game I ever got on the Xbox 360. Very excited. Put a lot of hours into it. But when I was done with it, it just seemed too easy for me. It felt too easy. It felt like it should have been more to it, but it wasn't. So my number 9 is Burst Limit. So coming in at number 8, Dragon Ball Z Shin Budokai. This was on the PSP, and I had a whole lot of fun playing this game. I remember my dad got this game for me, and it was one of the best games I played growing up, especially on a handheld. I played a lot of Dragon Ball games on a handheld, but nothing like this. It was Shin Budokai was like a mixture of Budokai 3, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, and like Tenkaichi 2. Just on a handheld. And it was so impactful. It had a bunch of characters. Some of the characters at the time, I didn't even know the characters. And then it was another thing. I also don't know who was playing my game because some of those characters I never unlocked, which was crazy to believe. But yeah, I remember having a whole lot of fun playing that game, especially because that Shin Budokai game, because it's a Budokai, you know, they kind of more so play the same. It's like you know, not a rinse and repeat, but it was just a fresh feeling because, like I said, I played a PSP. I never really grew up with a PS2 or a PS3 until years later when someone gifted me a PS2 way later, about 2015, 2016, just because they didn't want it anymore and I took it off their hands. But yeah, Shin Budokai on the PSP, fire, in my opinion, heavily underrated. So we are now on to number 7. And yeah, we're getting good to this. I'm getting good at this, okay? So coming in at number 7, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Now, after a while, I kind of stopped playing Dragon Ball games because it was more of a, like I said, more of a rinse and repeat. I love the fighting games, but I just wanted something different, something really different. At this point, I moved from Dragon Ball to specifically 100% like GTA and wrestling games at this point, and then my little brother ended up getting Xenoverse 2. Now, when he played it, it looked a little interesting, you know. Pick your character, pick your race, whether if you wanted to be a Saiyan or a Namekian or a human. Of course, I'm pretty sure everybody picked a Saiyan. Everybody wanted to reach Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan 3, and I'm pretty sure Super Saiyan 4, of course. I ended up making my own profile for that game. I never really finished it. I don't know. It was just, I wasn't really feeling it. He did though. He beat that game no problem. I just kind of fell out of it. It technically was what I was looking for. I don't know. Maybe it's not that I grew out of it. It's just the game, it was just, And also realize how I said Xenoverse 2. Yeah, we didn't get the first one. We jumped straight to the second one. We didn't get the first one, jumped straight into the second one. So yeah, number 7 is Xenoverse 2. So, we just got past number 7. We're on to number 6. As you know, it starts from worst to the best. 6 is more in between. So, coming in at number 6, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now, nowadays, you can go ahead and just download a game on your system, wait a couple minutes or hour, depending on what system you have at the time or how fast your Wi-Fi is. But no one really buys digital games like that no more. Now, for me personally, depending on the game, I've only done this for 3 games. 3 games so far, recently. I did it for Kingdom Hearts 3. That was a must. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, had to. And WWE 2K22. not 23. I have 23, but not 23. I camped out for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And it was real easy too, because at the time I worked at a mall. My job was right across from GameStop. They told me, listen, you want the game, you got to come get it when we close. So I ended up getting the game like 2-3 days early because they liked me so much, whatever the case may be, which was so dope. When I played it, this was dope. This was the game that I was looking for. This was the game that I wanted something different in. Something I enjoyed myself from start to finish. Did I curse a lot during the game? You bet your ass, because I don't know what was going on, but for some reason I kept dying when it came to Raditz, and I was like, oh man, this is just the beginning. Like, how hard could this game possibly get? And then once I got to Majin Buu, that was hard. That was the most difficulty I have ever had in the game. That part alone took me a month to beat. It was just it was just difficult. It was difficult. But Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is what Legacy of Goku would have been on like a console of a PlayStation 2 or a GameCube back in the day. That's what Kakarot brings to the newer generation. Now there are still DLCs still being released for this game that came out a little over 3 years ago now. I have not played not one DLC game. It's not that I don't want to, it's just, I don't know, I just like the story. The story was fine, the gameplay was fine by itself, and I was more so just done with it. And I haven't really picked it up. I haven't picked it up since. After I'm done with the game, I might go back to it sooner or later, once in a while. But as far as me playing the DLC for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, probably not. So yeah, number 6 is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Oh, and I also did a walkthrough for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I kind of just stopped at the Raditz part, but it's on his channel too. I forgot about that. Forgot to add that. All right. We are now in the nitty gritty of this list. You guys might like this, you might not hate it. Whatever. Let me know in the comments what you think about my list so far. Anyway, coming in at number 5, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 for the GameCube. Now, when I first played Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, I had a friend in the 2nd grade. He used to let me copy, or he used to let me cheat off his homework, and he'd be like, "Yo, what kind of games you got? I got games at my house that I don't really play." Mind you, we're like 7, 8 years old. I'm like, "Shit, whatever you got, I'll play it." Only Dragon Ball game I knew was Budokai. That's all I knew was Budokai. At the time, all I knew was Budokai. And he come to school one day and he said, "Here, play this for a week and then bring it back." He gives it to me, and it's Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Now I don't think nothing of it. I'm like, all right, I'll go home and play it. I play it. And I'm like, who are these characters? I didn't know who Goten was. It was just wild. And then he gave me his memory card with all the characters, which was wild. And that's a lot of grinding, because years later I end up playing the game on my own memory card, and the dynamic of Budokai 2 was so cool, because all I knew was the game Dragon Ball Z would go from the Saiyan Saga to the Cell Saga, and then that was it. And then you would pinpoint. They would pinpoint what was the special characters of said game. With Budokai 2, it went from the Saiyan Saga to the Buu Saga, the very end. But the best part of that whole game is that you had to do the whole entire story mode via a board game. Yes, you had to play a game within a game, and you had to collect the Dragon Balls. You had to do everything, fight whomever. It had little small cutscenes for whatever. It was just crazy, and the crazy part is you had to follow the anime to actually beat the game. You had to follow it. So you had to have Gohan fight Super Buu. You had to do that to actually physically beat the game, which was wild, which was crazy. And then they could also heal. They also had moves. Some of the characters were able to move like 3 spaces, or some characters were able to move 4 spaces, and some of them would hit like little areas where if they got to the area, they would gain an extra life. So when you would fight them in battle, they're stronger than they were before, and it would be super difficult. And this was when they had the Saiyamen. The Saiyamen were in this. They weren't playable at the time. They weren't playable yet. And I think the Super Budokai 2 had Saiyamen, because Budokai 1 had the Cell characters. The Cell Juniors, Cell Juniors, and that was also dope too. But having the Saiyamen, you play and fight them or whatever, even though you had to fight like 10 of those things. Great memories. That's all I gotta say. So, coming in number 5, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Number 4, please. We just got past number 5. We're officially on to number 4. We are almost done with this list. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys share this video with other people that like Dragon Ball Z and their Dragon Ball Z games. And let me know what you think about my list so far. With that being said, coming in at number 4. Dragon Ball GT Transformation for the Game Boy Advance. Now, when it comes to the Game Boy, there are technically 3 Dragon Ball Z games that come to mind off the bat when you bring up Game Boy. You think of Buu's Fury. You think of Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku 1 and 2. No one ever thought of GT. No one thinks of GT. Everyone, freaking Buu's Fury and Legacy of Goku are like critically acclaimed. Everyone loves those games. Everyone loved those games. Me personally, I never owned it. I never had it. I played more Dragon Ball GT Transformation than those games. I don't remember how, but I remember someone actually giving me this game. This was back when I had the original DS that allowed you to play DS games and Game Boy games from like you put at the bottom. I played it, and it was super dope. It was super dope because, at the time I was highly into GT, because everyone was like, watch GT, even though it makes 0 sense, but watch GT. And I watched it, and I was so into it, because I would just sit at the computer and just watch Dragon Ball GT in order, plus that one movie they had. But anyway, I always wanted Buu's Fury, and I always wanted Legacy of Goku. I know a buddy that had that joint, that had that game, and I don't know if he beat it or not. But I can tell you for a fact that I did not beat Transformation Dragon Ball GT. I didn't beat that, but it was fun. It was really a fun game to play. Of course, I always died pretty damn fast because I thought, no, it just didn't work. It just didn't work out in my favor. But I did, for sure. I definitely did enjoy playing that game at a young age, for sure. And it was my first handheld, my first Dragon Ball Z handheld game before the PSP. Yeah, before the PSP. PSP came later. But yeah, number 4, Dragon Ball Z Transformation for the Game Boy Advance. We are at number 3. Number 3. That's where we're at. We're at number 3. Now, with the announcement of a new Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi game coming soon, they didn't really ever given us a release date yet. But it's only right if I put this game on the list. So coming in at number 3, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Oh, where do I begin with this game? Firstly, never played besides Smash Brothers, never played no Dragon Ball Z game on the Wii. I didn't think it would work, number 1. Number 2, just like the Game Boy games that I said, I never owned Budokai Tenkaichi. Never. If you notice, I said systems of GameCube, PSP, Xbox One. I've never had a PlayStation 2. I never had a PlayStation 3. I chose Xbox 360 over PS3. But I had friends. Don't get it messed up. I had friends. So every time I would go over somebody's house, somebody got Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Somebody has Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And let me tell you, I lost every time. I cannot tell you not one time I actually won a fight. I don't know. I never could tell you. Because that was a game that I had no, not proper training, but I had no proper practice. I would just jump in, pick a character, pick my 5, and then get obliterated, no problem. But the thing that I liked about the game, and at the time no other game did this, no other Dragon Ball game did this, was detail. Absolute detail. You get blown to smithereens with a Kamehameha. There's no clothing. You're beat the hell up with bats and bruises. It was just dope. And then he had characters from the original Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Z. It's like 160 characters you can choose, and a long ass story. That was something super cool. That was super cool. That was the coolest thing out, and now there's a new one coming out. Shit, I give it, I want to say by the end of the year we should get, I want to say by summertime we should get an answer of a release date, but I cannot wait for that. And if I get that, that could be my first Budokai game. That could be my first Budokai game, and I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. So, coming in number 3, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. We are 2 left. Let's keep them moving. Okay. Now, we're at number 2. Number 2. These 2 are my top Dragon Ball Z games. They're also my favorite, and these are the ones I had the most fun with. So, coming in at number 2, Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. This was my answer for not having Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi. Raging Blast 2 was that game at the time. When it came out on the 360 and PS3, some people had it, some people didn't. That was the game that I needed when Christmas time came around. Mom, I need Raging Blast 2. And what did I get? Raging Blast 2. I kind of skipped the first one. I don't know why. I just skipped the first one. I just was like, they say the second one, go harder. Get the second one. What game do you know where you can play Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and a Super Saiyan 3 Broly? I don't think Tenkaichi can do that. I think Raging Blast 2 is another most underrated game out there today. We still got Fighter Z, you still got all these other games that, they can add. But at the time, Raging Blast 2 was the first game where you could be like, who can I pick? Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta? And he had hands. Not just like regular Vegeta. Regular Vegeta had hands too. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta had the hands. That was my favorite character of the whole game. That was the whole game. Too much so, we used to, me and my friends, we used to play the game outside on our porch. I would cook. That was my answer. That was Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2 was my answer for not having none of the Budokai Tenkaichi games growing up. And then it had a kick-ass theme, an opening. So I went back and listened to it again. It gave me like the memory. It was like, because I used to like sing it while playing the game, while cooking, using Vegeta. I used to play with Vegeta, Super Saiyan 2 Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and then Ultimate Gohan. Straight cooking. They just couldn't do it. They just couldn't. Yeah. So yeah, my number two Dragon Ball Z game is Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. We are down to the last game. And this one means a lot to me. Okay. So we are down to numero uno, number one. My favorite, the best Dragon Ball Z game ever. This is the game. This is the game that started everything. That legit started everything. 2006 is when everything started for my love for Dragon Ball Z. Because before Dragon Ball Z, the only three animes that I loved so much was Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Ultimate Muscle. And I'm so glad to bring Ultimate Muscle back. But my number one Dragon Ball Z game is Dragon Ball Z Budokai, the original, on GameCube. Yeah. Oh my God. Listen. When I was young, for a birthday present, my mom asked me, what did I want for my birthday? I said I wanted to sleep over. I made a video about this, but I'm gonna make it short and simple. One friend came, my other friend couldn't make it. My buddy Mar came over. He said, look at the games I got. He had the Smash Brothers. You need that. That's a classic. Gotta have that in the arsenal. But there was something that I've never seen. I said, bro, what is this Dragon Ball? I said, bro, what is this? What is this? He said, you never heard of Dragon Ball Z? I said, it's all. I've never heard of Dragon Ball Z. We popped that game in a damn GameCube. The rest was history. Rest was history. Playing characters like Yamcha and Tien and Nappa and the Great Saiyaman and Hercule, Goku, Vegeta, Krillin. Krillin on Dragon Ball Z Budokai was my favorite character. Android 19, Android 16, Android 18, 17. This game, I had so much fun playing this game. And damn, this shit is crazy. Like, I'm just thinking about this. The first time I played it, I just like, screw all the other games that I have. I need Dragon Ball Z Budokai. This 2006, right? 2010, me and my mom, we end up going to a mall. I find Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2010 for like, at some random game store for like $12. Picked it up. I played it all night, so much that I beat the whole thing. Even got to the Hercule part. I got past everything. And then my dumb ass decided I'm gonna just go and sell it. And I was like, whatever. Then last year, I ended up rebuying Dragon Ball Z Budokai. This is legit one of my favorite games ever. Playing the likes of Trunks. These are characters that I knew nothing about. I went, soon as we done with the whole sleepover thing, I did my research, go to the computer, did my research about these characters, and just watching this. And I was like, listen, this is something I like. I like Dragon Ball Z. This is the game that got in. So, hey, if bro see this, shout out Mario put me on Dragon Ball with Budokai. Because I remember strictly going to his house, and we used to play in his room, but for some reason, don't quote me, but some reason he used to have, like, because nothing was wireless back then, he used to have the GameCube controller wrapped around, don't know how, but wrapped around his his damn dresser, so I couldn't really see, so I'd be like pointing like this, like I couldn't see a TV, so I just had to point down there. So much fun. Didn't know what the fucking Kamehameha was without Budokai. If I never stumbled upon Dragon Ball Z Budokai, I would have never gotten into Dragon Ball Z. Probably would have gotten Naruto. Probably would have gotten Naruto, most likely. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm lying. But that is it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys share this freaking video, because the video's done. The video's done. I gotta go edit. But much love to everyone. Did you guys enjoy my top 10? Did you guys like my list? Make sure you let me know in the comments if you liked it or not. But with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.